Thank you, everybody, for being here. I'd like to call this meeting to order at 5:47. May I get a roll call, please?
Yes. Board Member Dina Flores.
Present.
Board Member Dolores Rivera.
Here.
Board Member Aaron Cimental. Board Member Patrice Zanzioni.
Present.
Board Member Armando Barajas.
Excuse me.
Student Board Member Samantha Bustamante. Here. Superintendent Dr. Alejandro Alvarez.
Present.
Dr. Diana Kennard.
Present.
Marisela Barba. Present. Tamika Lee Nolasco.
Present. Okay, thank you so much for the roll call. May I get a motion to approve the, first? No. Okay, can I get a motion to approve the agenda of the regular board meeting of December 12th?
Madam President, I move that the agenda be approved. So far that the board immediately proceed with public comments related to closed session first, public comments related to open session first. Pledge of Allegiance, student board member representative report, and staff presentations and recognitions prior to proceeding with the regular agenda.
I second the motion
That's what
as augmented.
Okay, roll call?
Aye.
Aye. Okay, so agenda has been approved with the stipulation mentioned by motion by Mr. Cimental and seconded by Board Member Stanzioni. So with that said, we will start with the Pledge of Allegiance. Ms. Samantha Bustamante, could you lead us?
I pledge allegiance
To the flag
of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation,
under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you so much. Moving on to the student board representative report.
Don Julian announcements. Our Don Julian PTA is currently sponsoring our Penguin Patch Holiday Shop here in our cafeteria, which gives our students the opportunity to purchase gifts for family members from 25 cents up to $12. Last week, our librarian, Ms. Diaz, held our Scholastic Book Fair in the library, and we had a great turnout. Our kindergarten through 5th grade students just completed diagnostic number 2 iReady, and we are looking forward to seeing some growth. On Saturday, December 9th, 35 of our amazing middle school Lions participated in the Run for Fun 2K race at Mount San Antonio College. Led by 2 of our amazing 3rd grade students, we started our brand new drama club. Last Thursday, during our first meeting, had 45 students attend. Finally, Don Julian would like to thank the National Latino Police Officers Association, San Gabriel Valley Chapter, and Los Angeles County Supervisor Hilda Solis for sponsoring 45 of our Lions to go on a $100 shopping spree at Target on Tuesday, December 5th. We are incredibly thankful. Thank you, and remember, it is a great day to be a Lion. Edgewood announcements. The Brave Knights continue to work hard at Edgewood Academy. Our elementary students are working on the iReady diagnostic number 2, and our middle school students are working on their semester benchmark. They are all hoping to make growth and demonstrate what they've learned so far. These last 2 weeks before winter break is the time to celebrate. Elementary students were recognized for their academic achievement, citizenship, and attendance during our Trimester 1 awards. On Monday, during our Spirit Assembly, we recognized our scholars who exhibited what it is to be accepting of others. The 2 classes who had the highest attendance in the month of November were also recognized. Our kindergarten through 6th grade students were treated to the NED's Mindset Mission Assembly. They learned about not giving up, encouraging others, and always doing your best. Lastly, ASB organized Holiday Spirit Days for students to dress up this final week leading into the holidays. Happy holidays from the Brave Knights. Sunkist announcements. Sunkist Tigers have been focusing on our second iReady reading math test. This is a fantastic opportunity for our students to demonstrate their growth in reading and math since their first test, which they took at the beginning of the school year. Sunkist ASB is up and running. We officially have all our offices filled, and our ASB team is Tiger Strong. We held our first official meeting, and you will be so impressed with our 4th and 5th grade leaders. They are truly a representation of the leaders of our future. Sunkist Tigers are hard at work preparing for our holiday show this coming Thursday at 8:30 a.m. and 9:45 a.m. We are so excited to showcase our Tiger performances. Sunkist is thankful to our Tiger community. We would like to take this time to thank our students, families, teachers, support staff, Bassett community, our Board of Education, and Cabinet for supporting us all year round. Happy holidays, Bassett. Van Wyck announcements. The Van Wyck teachers and scholars had a great November with lots of learning and engaging activities. Teachers have been working hard, analyzing data, planning lessons, and using engaging strategies in the classroom. Our first graders have been working on writing, and our fifth graders just finished their novel Holes and are now working on biographies of famous people. We have begun iReady testing and are eager to see the results. Friday, December 8th, we will be having our Christmas boutique where families can come together for fun, shopping, some performances from our scholars, and some holiday cheer. We are looking forward to our winter break, and our Van Wyck Wildcats wish you all a Merry Christmas and a joyful holiday season. Torch Middle School announcements. Our Trojans had an amazing month. They have been working hard to meet their academic goals. Currently, our Trojans are in the process of completing their second benchmark assessment and are preparing for their iReady assessments in January. Trojans have had multiple opportunities to participate in school events this past month. They had the wonderful opportunity to engage in a career and law day in which several lawyers presented about their educational journey into law. Trojans were also part of our college information night on November 30th, in which a keynote speaker from USC presented to our students and families. Universities, college, and various career representatives filled the Watanabe Center with great information for our students. It was a successful event for Torch family and students. Also, our amazing Torch winter band performance was an evening to remember. Our Trojans and fantastic band director, Mr. Almgren, blew families and the community away with their love for music. The energy was contagious. Next week, our ASB students will be hosting our school's first winter dance. It is always a great day to be a Trojan. Bassett High School announcements. Bassett High School students are gearing up for the end of their first semester. Our Olympians are preparing for finals and ensuring they are working on their assignments. Our Olympians are also working hard on showing up to school. Attendance at Bassett High School is being recognized by our PBIS team. We will be giving out prizes at lunchtime and we'll be raffling off a TV this week for those students who have had great attendance and behavior. Our winter sports are in full swing with boys basketball and girls soccer. High interest in girls soccer has allowed us to bring back a girls JV team. We are very excited about this. Boys varsity soccer is 3-1. Boys basketball went 2-2 this past week in the Northview tournament. Wrestling had their first tournament this weekend. Seniors and the counseling team put in many extra hours to ensure that eligible seniors submitted CSU and UC college applications. Now seniors are gearing up for completing the FAFSA application. Our Olympian marching band placed fourth in the Baldwin Park Holiday Parade. We are also proud to share that David Frias placed second in the drum major category. It is a great day to be an Olympian. Nueva Vista School announcements. Nueva Vista teachers have been working with all students in earning credit. Teachers are refining their curriculum to ensure students' needs are being met. In the PLC, we have been working on refining our vision and mission in preparation for our WASC visit in the fall of 2024. The Nueva Vista High School Student Leadership Group has been doing monthly activities for students and celebrations for staff and students. They are also working on beautifying the campus and working on our garden. It is a great day to be an explorer. That is all.
Thank you so much. Okay, moving along to, you said staff presentations, right? Okay, moving along to staff presentations. Dr. Alvarez, we have the first interim report.
Well, yeah, okay, sorry, Ms. Barba.
I go first?
Yes.
Okay.
Board President, members of the board, we have our CBO, Ms. Marisela Barba, who will be presenting the first interim to the board. As a reminder, this is one of the legal requirements regarding the school district's finances. After the adopted budget at the end of June, we have our first interim that's due by December 15th to Los Angeles, to the county offices of education, and then they have a timeline to get it into the state. So this is the first interim, and I'll go and turn it over to Ms. Barba.
Before we begin, Ms. Alexandra, please let the record reflect that Board Member Barajas is present. Take it away.
Good evening, Board President, board members, superintendent, and public in general. This is a presentation of the 2023-2024 first interim budget report. So we're going to have an agenda, and the agenda is going to include the budget cycle, budget certifications. We're going to talk about revenue assumptions, expenditure assumptions. We're going to show the general fund changes, from the adopted budget to the first interim. We're going to give you an overview of the general fund unrestricted and a general fund restricted. So as usual, you know, we show you this picture is the budget cycle. As you can see, we have two reporting periods, first and second interim reports. This is to show LACO, the certification of districts' financial condition. So we are in the first interim financial report, which is due, as Dr. Alvarez mentioned, in December 15th, and we're here. Then from there, we're gonna move and we move forward to the governor's budget proposal, which is in January next year, 2024. And after we receive all the information about the state budget, then we make any changes that impact the second interim and any other updates as needed. Then we move on and go to the preliminary report in April. And then we look at the state May revision and I capture all additional changes that this report may have from the state. And all this information, we use it to build the adopted budget for next year, 2024-25. We're very happy to share that the district is submitting a positive certification budget report to the county, which means that the district's projections are showing that the district will meet the financial obligations for the current year and the two subsequent fiscal years. Then we're gonna show you where we did the budget assumptions. So we have several sources where we gather all these revenue assumptions, including the 2023-24 state enacted budget, from the district enrollment and attendance projections. You can see this table. This table is showing you all this data that you see there is the one that we use to compute the local control funding formula, including the statutory COLA, enrollment, unduplicated percentage, and the P2 ADA, and the funded P2, because now since the state is giving LEAs the opportunity to select whether we have the P2 ADA from prior year or current year, in addition to that, they say, okay, if you want to get a funded P2 for the 3 prior years, whichever is great. So we have 3 options to say, okay, which ADA we want to use to maximize the local control funding formula. Then we have, yes, and that's how we get the funding formula. Of course, we also have other revenues, such as federal and state, and we still have some other programs for the recovery funds. Many of them are going to expire this fiscal year on June 30th, which we're working with, make sure that we use all those funds by June 30th. We also have the legal guidance. They tell us, you know, they give us a lot of information on how and how we stay in compliance. And we also have the School Service California, which they are a great source of information as well. This table is showing you the revenue assumptions that have been used for all 3 fiscal years. I'm sorry, but the table is a little bit like too stretched, so I hope that you can see the numbers. But the important thing in this table is that to see the difference between the adopted budget and the first interim for all 3 years. And I have color red. All those numbers that you see red is because it's a negative number, meaning whether it's less money or less percentages or less enrollment. So you can see in all 3 years what took place from the adopted budget to the first interim. So we had from the enrollment projection to the October 6th enrollment official count, we identified that we enrolled approximately 20 less students from projected, which is, I think, is really good. It's not a lot from projection, so I can say that it's a really it's a good thing. The unduplicated percentage, of course, if we have less enrollment, then the percentage will be less as well of the unduplicated pupil. And you notice that the P288 projection is green, meaning it's a good thing, but it's because we projected a 90% attendance out of the total enrollment, but based on that the students are, I believe they're attending more. We have Saturday school, we have all their programs to increase the attendance rates. So we increased just 1%, but it's showing that, we have a little higher attendance, which will give us a little bit more revenue in the local control funding formula, in addition to having the students attending more to school. And for the 3-year prior year average, we are having a little bit of increase in the 25-26 fiscal year. So the revenue assumptions, what are the challenges that we have? The challenges in revenue is, of course, the declining student enrollment, the student attendance, and the unduplicated pupil percentage. We know that those three factors play a major role in the local control funding formula. The local control funding formula is the greatest source of revenue for the district in the general fund. What do we need to do? We'll show in the following slides. Now for expenditures, what do we have an increase in? So we had the employee salary and fringe benefits increases. We had special education general fund contribution increase. We have experienced retirement rates, STIRS and PERS increases, health and welfare benefits, and some supplies and services as needed. This is a chart that shows you the ratios or trends of our enrollment in ADA, and you see that over the years we continue experiencing declining enrollment and of course attendance as well. But if you see the current year 23-24 and the projected 24-25, 25-26, we're I'm quite optimistic and having a small decline in enrollment, not large, and hopefully that we can have a continuous enrollment. That hopefully we stop a decline in enrollment. This slide shows you the breakdown of the local control funding formula. As you see, the local control funding formula has 3 areas of revenue, which is the 3 grants. One is for base, the other one is the supplemental in concentration, and the one is the add-on. The add-on includes transportation, TIBG grant, the TK add-on, and that's a fixed amount that we receive year after year for those 3 grants. For the supplemental concentration, it changes based on the projected percentage. So that, as you see in current year, we are having a projected at 13.05 million, but then it drops dramatically to 12.3, and next year 24-25. Why is that? It's because we have a 1% statutory COLA in 24-25. We had, and we'll show you additional screens where you see what we had before, so we have right now 1%. Why we have 1% for 24-25? So it's been the recommendation. It's not official from the state, but it's the talk of the town. You know, everybody's saying that the COLA for next year is gonna drop from 394 to down to 1%, which is impacting substantially. And of course, it impacts the funding formula and impacts base and supplemental concentration. So because it's being recommended to use the 1%, that's what the district is doing.
I was just gonna make sure to point out, we're not getting $412 million supplemental concentration in 25-26 school year. I just wanna make sure we clarify that. It's really 12.14 million. So we could take that
Thank
more
you.
off, please.
Sorry.
That's a big.
So the total on the bottom, you see is the current year, there's no changes for current year, LCFS.
Can you?
Oh, it's fixed.
He's fixing it. Oh, thank you. Okay. Yeah, because I said, okay, where am I gonna get the 400? Okay, thank you for helping me. Okay, so you see at the bottom, 45.3 for current year. That's not making a change. But for next year, we had 43, and I'll show you later in another slide. So we had from 43.6 to 42.6 million that we have projected this. For next year is the 1% COLA stamp. And of course, that 1 million also is impacted in 25-26, decreasing the revenue from 43 million down to 42. Then we have the expenditure assumptions. Those are the assumptions that we use to compute salaries, more than anything, and the health and welfare costs. That includes step and column for certificated, step and column for classified, PERS, workers' compensation. Those are the common regular fringe benefits that we use, and those are the percentages that we have. Notice most of them are consistent throughout the 3 years, except for PERS. PERS is showing an increase every year. This year we have 26.68%. Next year, 24-25, we have 27.7%, and the 25-26, 28.3%. Workers' compensation seems to be, for what we know so far, it's continuous, it's flat. Health and welfare, based on the negotiation, we have a cap. The cap formula stays, but it's increased by 5% for all groups. The general fund contribution will, of course, also increase for special education, for transportation, and the routine restricted maintenance account because of same thing, the salary increases. Trying to keep that 3% for the routine restricted maintenance as well. So I'm gonna go forward to this slide, and then I'll go back to this slide. So this one is the unrestricted general fund multi-year projections. To show the upper section is all the revenue projected. The red is the general fund contribution. So we have allocated, classified employee benefits, books and supplies, services, other outgo, and capital outlay. So we have projected 47.5 million for current year's expenditures, and we are projecting 38 million in revenue. I want to point out that here, the capital outlay, 6.8 million, is because of the district-wide. 6 million of that is to cover the district-wide HVAC project. Even though they're working on it, we haven't paid using these funds. They are committed for that project. So because the other portion of the total project is 13 million, so the other 7 million we're using as a 3, and because they're gonna expire on June 30th, so we're using those funds first to pay the contractor. So that's why it continues being a flat amount.
And then the remainder for the E-rate project?
And
The other 800,000 is specific to the E-rate project we started last year that the board approved, where we've been switching out the access points and the switches and network equipment at all school sites.
And again, when they haven't been paid because.
The project's carried over to this school year.
Yeah, so, and then I noticed the section C, the net increase, decreasing fund balance. We are, district is experiencing a structural deficit spending, meaning structural means that all 3 years are having a deficit spending. Current year, we were projecting 9.2 million, 24-25, 1.5 million, and 25-26, 2.6 million. The fund balance also from beginning 28 million, ending is 18.8. So fund balance, ending fund balance from current year 18.7 goes down to 14.6 million. And that's because this is covering for the deficit spending. Now I need to go back to the other slide. Apologize. So what happens when we have a deficit spending? So LACO recommends that the district make budget adjustments because we need to clear the deficit spending. And so district will be required to submit a fiscal stabilization plan to show what type of budget adjustments are gonna be made anywhere. So, of course, the areas which we're gonna show is it's with some adjustments in the personnel cost management, reductions in expenditures, and of course, continue committing the ending fund balance as all commitments for the to stabilize all these deficit spending area. And just go over it, but explain what that is unknown, but what's the difference between the spending and the structural deficit spending? The spending is when 1 or 2 years is overspending. Structural is when all 3 years is showing overspending. Okay, so then this table shows you the projected revenue for the general fund, unrestricted. So you see the LTFF funds is 84%, is a great source of revenue. We have a small amount of state revenue, only 1% of the total revenue projected. Local revenue is like 150. So that's why it's showing 0, but we took a small amount. And the general fund contribution is 15%. So that is amount that goes to the categorical programs that we mentioned earlier. This graph shows you the general fund expenditure. This is expenditures for all districts, where what percentage goes for each type of expenditure. It includes all salaries, certificated classified employee benefits, book supply services, capital outlay, and other outgo. And then this table is showing you the difference in general fund revenue expenditure changes and overall general fund. And you can see the local control funding formula for current year, there's no change. Federal revenue, there's a change of 7.2 million, and that's because of the district-wide HVAC project. These 7 million have not been received yet. So we are accounting for revenue for this program, but it's related in.
It's prior year's allocation, we just haven't received it, so they haven't encumbered the revenue yet.
Because they haven't received it, we don't have it as a fund balance yet, it's gonna come in. So we need to put it in the revenue portion. And then the other amount is basically is the Title 1, 2, 3 carryover and the in-person instruction program. And that's the one-time program as well. The expenditures, you can see we have substantial increases. For certificated, close to 4 million, classified 1.5, and fringe benefits 1.7. It's because of the negotiated salary increase. And then the bottom, supplies and services, they're just increases from supplement concentration, part of it. It's the increase allocation of the supplemental concentration last year's carryover. This table shows you the revenue budget changes. Again, it's the same as a chart of the previous slide. And you see at the bottom, you have the 7.2 million and the 328, which the difference between the adopted budget and the first interim. And this one is expenditure changes. That one was the revenue, this is the expenditure. You can see, can you see this?
We can see on the slide.
So you see the expenditures at the bottom is the same as we saw on the slide. The piece. This is the restricted general fund. This one includes the special education program and routine and restricted maintenance program. And also you can see this one has a netting decrease also in fund balance, but this one, they have a substantial fund balance, so it covers for those overspending. So for this particular, for these programs, the district is not required to do stabilization fund because fund balance is gonna cover for that. Also, you can see the 7 million and the capital outlay for the HVAC project, which is gonna be paid with SFP. And this is just the multi-year projections in millions. You see the increase and the decrease in fund balance, 9.2 million, 1.5, and 2.6 negative. So that's the structural deficit spending that we're talking about. This is the fund balance detail. It includes the beginning balance, 20 million, technology reserve that we're talking about, 800,000. Reserve for economic uncertainty, the 3% is required by law. The 7% additional reserve approved by the board. And the balance of the beginning fund balance, that of course is to support our year's deficit spending. The ending fund balance is showing, and you can see as we move over the 3 years, we end up with 14.6 million. So basically the district is financially sound, but for long term, I know we need to keep looking into especially when in January, how the state is going to tell us about what increases of looking at everything that comes in our costs and what we're gonna do as a long term for this to maintain fiscally solvent. Next steps, what do? We, as mentioned, we continue to balance the budget to improve student enrollment in attendance. And look at the state 2024-2025 budget proposal in January. The changes in the local control funding formula, the statutory code percentage, and look in the second interim budget report that will be built after the state budget proposal. And of course, keeping an eye on these one-time programs and the deadlines that we have to use these funds and the compliance that as well we have. And that's the end. And do you have any questions?
Does the board have any questions? Yes, no?
Wait, I have a question.
Yeah, that's like.
I apologize.
No worries.
Slide 13, you talked about the fiscal stabilization plan. Are we working on a fiscal stabilization plan right now?
We will, because
will?
we haven't built it, but
Okay.
because we have a structural spending,
Right.
we know that the county is going to ask.
You're asking for one?
Yes.
When can we expect it to come to the board then?
We have to, sorry if I may, President, we have to work with Lakeland, see when they want it and see how much time they're gonna give us to put it, so we can make some adjustments. I was speaking to one of the board members, obviously, there's a lot of concerns with what we're hearing from the legislative analyst's office, the governor and all that with these $68 billion shortfall from the state and how it's gonna affect future allocations. And so what kind of, for me, and this just goes into, unfortunately, my experience, I've had to deal with these kind of situations about through 3 cycles of recessions in the state and what the impact of school districts and having to make adjustments. We have a good fund balance that obviously will help weather some of that, but we also we don't wanna continue to have this deficit spending. And so one of the biggest adjustments we will make is as you may have noticed for this year, we had this increase in salaries, which is probably the biggest hit because negotiations ended after we had adopted the budget, so we couldn't include it on there. So one of the things we'll be doing to the budget, some of the adjustments is really looking at how we're losing revenue those years out and then reallocating a lot of that supplemental concentration because we will be spending more supplemental concentration than we're bringing in. So that's one of the key areas we'll be looking at as we readjust where we put it in the plan based on our actual allocation now versus overspending right now because we had to add for the salary increases and things like that. So those are the kind of adjustments we'll be making, especially and then what we call in the business world, the 4s and 5s and non-personnel costs. And so we're gonna work with LACO on what kind of plan they want so that we can put together a timeline and then bring it to the board. I'm hoping really by when we bring in an adoption for the 24-25, we bring it at that time as well.
Just one other comment. I historically, years back, there was a while where we were qualified. So knowing that for the last several years, we're positive certification, even though we have to work on the deficit spending, it's music to my ears. I've always said that since the first time when Santa actually brought a positive, I was like, what? Those exist type of thing? But yeah, it's great to hear. I do appreciate all the hard work that your office does. Dr. Alvarez también, thank you very much for everything you do to making sure that we, of course, are fiscally stable.
And we want to continue doing it.
I do have a question. So, and I concur with my colleagues' comments. It's great to have a positive budget. I do have questions though on the unrestricted and the restricted that you represented. And Dr. Alvarez, it probably speaks to what you said. I see dips in there, like in the salaries are certificated and classified. I see dips in there of the salaries and then it goes back up in
Great
the
question.
25-26. So in both the restricted and unrestricted, and concerning also services and other operating expenditures, I see that's a big dip from 23-24 projected to the 24-25 projected. So I just wanna make sure that in services and other operating expenditures, that we're not, how do you say it? I wanna make sure that the district has what it needs to keep functioning so that we can still provide for our students.
Yeah, when you see the variances in the material projections is because this year, as a request this year, we are accounting for the 22 as negotiated, the conversation, the negotiations in the vicinity.
Okay,
So
okay.
we have to include the 22-23 salaries retro and the 22-23, so it's a combination of both. And then when you build the out years, then you need to take the 22-23 out, and then you include the 3% that is going to impact this year. So it's kind of complicated when you know, like you think, okay, I need to cut down this. Now, also with supplemental concentration, then we need to see, okay, how much we're budgeting for this program and where do we have the budget? And then because we have to make reductions for that, then as we go along throughout the 3 years, then we need to make sure that we budget the right amounts. And if there's a decrease in supplemental concentration, then we cannot decrease it in the salaries yet until we go into review in detail and as a long term and see exactly how the district is going to allocate all these funds exactly, but we know that things need to change in the future. But yeah, that's why you can see, okay, here there's amount, and then here in the 24-25 it drops a little bit, and then it goes up again, and it goes up again, and the 25-26 is just a stepping column in the salaries, but in the services, it drops a little bit because of that, but nevertheless, we're going to continue making adjustments because, just like you said, and Dr. Alvarez has given us the instructions that the sites we need to give them what they need. And that's why with the information that we have and the funds that we have, we did the best to build this multi projections. Are we gonna have changes in the second interim? For sure.
Okay, thank you so much. So, but okay, so services and other operating expenditures. In the unrestricted, I see a big drop between the 23-24 and the 24-25 versus the restricted. It's not, there's a drop, but it's not as significant. Is this what you're saying, Dr. Alvarez, with regards to, it's an HVAC thing?
No, so if you look at the next line where it's the number 6 capital outlay, that 6.8 is carried over from prior year. Last year, we had budgeted that in there, knowing we were gonna start the project, both the HVAC and the E-rate project we discussed with the upgrade of our technology and district-wide access points and switches and all that. The project has carried over for this year, so those funds didn't get spent last year. We carried into this year as those projects are gonna be completed. I will tell you that even though the E-rate project will be completed this year and we'll be expending those funds, the HVAC project is going to carry into next year. And as Ms. Barbo had said, our goal is to utilize all ESSER 3 funds first as we pay invoices that come in. So that $5.7 or $6 million in this expense line is actually probably, it's gonna drop off, move over to next year as that HVAC project carries into next year, to pay out out of the unrestricted budget, the final portion as they complete it.
Okay, I was looking at line item 5.
So line item 5 is services and,
Is the supplemental and concentration carryover?
So there's some carry,
Okay.
We have 2.7 million. When we close books, we identify unspent.
Okay, so then the, okay,
That's
so
why
it's
it's so
not
high.
that much. Okay,
So
got
yeah,
it.
and then it drops, because we're anticipating that we're going to spend all the funds that have been allocated for this year, plus the carryover.
I see.
It makes it like close to 16 million. Current year is 13 million plus the 2.7, it's 15.7. That's why it's we collect these numbers here. The money has been shared with the dollars that we allocated to the sites. We're waiting for their spending plans, and then we're going to reallocate it to next year.
Okay. Thank you.
You're very welcome.
Any other questions?
Thank you. Thank you. Great questions. Thank you so much.
Okay.
And now, Dr. Kina will present the outcome.
Moving right along, Dr. Alvarez.
yes, thank you, Board President. I'll have to ask Dr. Kennard to come up, and she's going to be presenting to the board an update on our LCAP.
Good evening, Board President, Board members, Superintendent, and Bassett community. Tonight I'll be presenting information regarding the LCAP. This is a mid-year update on the implementation of the goals, actions, and services in our LCAP. So a quick review of what are the components of the LCAP. Goal A is that all students will learn at high levels. Goal B, Bassett will be safe and student-centered for all. And goal C, students will graduate college and career ready. Those are our three goals in the LCAP, and all of the actions come within those goals. So for each goal, there are several actions. Goal A has the most, as we'll see in a minute, and then goal B has 5, and then goal C, I think, has 3 actions. So one of the things that we want to take a look at tonight is what has been the implementation to date. So this is a mid-year update with regard to the goals and the actions for the outcome. And at this point in the school year, some of these goals and some of these actions will be unknown, some will be in progress, and some will be known or met. And we'll take a look at each one as we go forward. So for goal 1, all students will learn at high levels. These are the 6 actions that are paid out of the supplemental and concentration funds. And I won't go through each one, but I did want to point out a couple of things. This chart shows you what the action title is, what the items are that are paid from the services that are taken from that action, and then the outcome. The last column there is the outcome. Is it met? Is it in progress? Where are we today? So for example, math interventions. Item action 2. Math intervention teachers, 2 at Bassett High School and 1 at Torch Middle School. Math instructional assistants, a math task force, and some materials. So for the most part, these all have been met. We have 2 extra Bassett High School teachers providing math intervention. 1 was at Torch. We're in the process of rehiring somebody for that position. We have our math instructional assistants. We're working closely with PC and HR to make sure that we have those all filled. Also, the math task force has been meeting throughout the year. So where it says met and in progress, many of them are met. There's a couple of items in there that are still that continue to be in progress. And that's true for the other items that are on the list as well. I can go over one more. For example, the enrichment opportunities, access to VAPA. Those are the items that we wanted to pay for from that action. And that would be field trips, materials, instruments for our students, various activities within the visual and performing arts area. And to date, we have had either students going to field trips or the vendors or the experience coming to the school. I know Van Wyck has had a couple, and they're processing another, working with another group to come and bring the experience to the school and see the students going out to the field trip. So those are actions in goal A. And then these continue to be actions in goal A. However, you can see here that these are paid out of the base program. So they're mainly the Williams legislation. but except for that last one, and I'll explain that one in a second. But these are not, they need to be as part of the LCAP in order for it to be approved. However, they're not paid out of the SNC funding. So our base program, which is our enrichment, dual immersion and GATE programs, again, those we've been advised by the county office that those are not supplemental, and so we have to pay for them also. For goal number 2, Bassett will be safe and student-centered for all. These are the 5 actions, and as you can see, the same system here. We have the items in the middle, and then whether the item has been met or in progress. What I will point out here is, and I'll share with you, we did have an LCAP task force that worked with me on this. And this is where we get most of the questions, and we're really working on it. And that's number 4, the wellness program, elementary and middle school athletic program. We have flown the position, we had interviews set up, and it's just a staffing shortage. The individuals had taken other jobs, and one was no longer interested. So we have had a really hard time in the staffing issue here. We're really hoping to get to make sure that we have some after-school sports for our elementary and middle school students. Middle school is working with Team Together. So we have some sports going on there, but the elementary school students really do want, we heard from our parents, we heard from our teachers and our admin. This is a program that is highly desired. So I recently spoke with our partners at Team Together, and we're going to see what we can do to work together so that we bring the program to our after-school students at the elementary. And so as you can see, that is the one that is still unknown. And then lastly, we have Bassett LCAP goal number 3, students will graduate college and career ready. And there are 3 actions in this goal. You can see them there, all 3 are in progress. One of the new items that we have this year are, I believe we started them last year, H2G parent information nights, as well as English learner parent information nights. And all of our schools are hosting those meetings twice a year, one in the fall and one in the spring. So this is the LCAP task force. As you can see there were 2 teachers, 2 students, and 2 parents. We met and we asked them, we need their input. We shared with them where we were. We looked at some of our data. We asked them these questions. We need their feedback as we move forward. And this is mid-year. We want to see where we're at and what we need to do to make sure that we're implementing fully, and if there's anything that has changed from their perspective. And so we gave them some sentence frames there. I noticed that X, and it would be better if. So we gave them some sentence frames. We worked together with them. We met a few times in a row with them, and we did take their feedback. One of the most often items we heard was the elementary after-school programs and intervention. So in closing, addressing learning acceleration needs and hiring staff continues to present the challenges for 2024. But despite the challenges, we're committed to implementing the LCAP, and we really do want to acknowledge and sincerely thank the hard work and dedication of the employees, our parents, and our students. And with that, I'm happy to answer.
Does the board have any questions?
Yeah, question. For the middle school, the sports are only for Think Together members?
So we worked on that. We had a concern about that, and I worked with them together and principals, and so no, any student can participate in the after sports. At first it was set up that way, but we made some changes and had some agreements that they didn't have to be a part of Think Together, but and they could participate.
Oh, okay, that's good. Thank you.
Anybody else? Okay, if nobody else, I do have a question. So, as our seniors graduate, I would like to, is there a way that we can kind of follow along? Where do they go? Do they go into trade? Do they go to college? And just like, I guess more build the alumni build the alumni group, because I think when you have alumni and they come back and they speak to their experiences at Bassett, I think that's a very big plus. Is that something you think we can look at?
Sure, definitely. We do have a system in place right now where they do track, we need to, required to go back and find out where our students are. I think we're not really recruiting for the alumni, but we are asking if they're in the trade school, if they're in the college, or what they're currently doing. But I don't see a difficulty. We would work with the superintendent to make sure we can start asking if they're interested in take their information, asking if they're interested.
That would be great. And as far as the parent engagement, I think the parent group that we had in the fall was really good, the meeting we had on Saturday. So I'm looking forward to Springs. Parent Academy, yes.
Thank you.
Madam President.
Sorry.
Yeah.
To piggyback on that, tracking the students through their first year of outside of our school, I think the power in that is that it tells us if we did make them college or career ready. Because if they don't survive that freshman year of college, we didn't help them. And I think that's critical, because we can say we put them in college, they all got accepted, and they don't finish. And that gives us a lot more data on whether or not they've met that. So thank you for doing that.
Remember?
I also agree with your sentiments of doing some type of senior exit survey per se, just to see how we could collect the data voluntarily while they're still with us to track them moving forward. I did want to agree with that, but also go back down to LCAP goal number 2, the actions. Number 3 was increased social emotional well-being support, specifically the school safety campus monitors. Obviously, there has been an influx of fights on our campuses. So I'm wondering how, I know the outcome is met, but if there's any conversation at this time to, I guess, come back to the table and address some of the recent concerns our community has been having on this.
Well, yes, for sure. We have noticed that. This indicates that we are going to hire these individuals, and then the operations at the school site, we work closely with the principal and our superintendent, our cabinet, to see what is happening there, what we need to do to mitigate that. So we're just having a conversation earlier about in one situation, passing time. Is there sufficient passing time so that the students have adequate time to use the restroom and get to class on time and not have to be excused during instructional time and that kind of thing? So absolutely, the beauty of being a part of a small district is that we work very closely together and we can note those things that are happening, occurring, and they're very communicative with our superintendent, let us know exactly what's happening and where some issues are coming up, and then we work with our principals and our leadership teams at the sites to address those concerns. But what is in the LCAP here is that we will provide for that kind of safe environment. So we make sure that we're hiring individuals to be there for campus monitors. Now we have a situation where we have to put all of our efforts together to mitigate what's happening currently.
And board member
I have
Rivera.
one more question. The community school, I don't see them anywhere here. Are they part of anything in helping us? They're here on the community school,
The high school.
at the high school, huh?
They're not part of the LCAP, they're a part of a program that's at the high school, but not necessarily part of what's written into.
The LCAP, and they couldn't help with the social emotional well-being, or increase the social, do they help with that at all? or-
Oh, yes, they provide plenty of services, a little bit of, I know we have other individuals here that work on that specifically, but they definitely provide, there's Margaret's Place there, there's psychologists there, they have several levels of support. And there's a community schools initiative, which is not part of the LCAP, but several different services at the site.
Thank you.
I would just like to add that on your comment that yes, we are a small district, but as I've said in the past, it is our size that will be our strength. Because the more we build communication and everybody's kind of like an arm's distance away, I think it's going to be really good. So I view the size of our district as our strength.
I agree.
Any other questions?
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, Okay, we will move into public comments. There are no public comments related to closed session, so I'm not gonna read that. So we'll move along to public comments related to open session. The Board of Education welcomes input from the public in order to conduct district business in an orderly manner for the privacy and safety of the speakers and to help staff respond more directly. The board requires that the public presentations to the board comply with certain procedures, including speakers may address only items that are within the subject matter jurisdiction of the board. When addressing the board, speakers are requested to state their name, address the board from the podium, and adhere to the applicable time limit of 3 minutes. The total allotted time for public input on either agenda or non-agenda items is 3 minutes. If there are several speakers on a specific topic at the president's request, the board may reduce the amount of time that individuals may speak, requesting that comments be limited to the points not already addressed. Speakers may not reserve or grant any portion of their speaking time to other persons. Speakers are requested to maintain order, decorum, not disrupt the meeting, or use profanity when addressing the board. Complaints should follow the district's complaint procedures before discussion with the board. Pursuant to Senate Bill 1100, the board president may remove disruptive individuals from a board meeting so long as the individual is first warned by the presiding board member that their behavior is disrupting the meeting, and failure to cease such behavior may result in removal. If the behavior does not promptly cease, the individual may be removed. To the board, I'd like to share that we have 3 people requesting public comment. The first one, Carrie Cow and Lian Nguyen will speak together. So you have 3 minutes.
Good evening, board members. Today, as student representatives from Bassett High School, we wanted to address some concerns about our vice principal, Ms. Galabi, as we are students from the Health Academy class. It's a pathway in Bassett High School, and we wanted to express our concerns about how we feel unsupported by her as Health Academy and HOSA cabinet members. In the beginning of the school year, we did not have a Health Academy teacher, and I asked her about if we're gonna get a new teacher and if we're gonna get our club HOSA up and running, because HOSA is a very vital club to many Health Academy students, and it's an organization that helps student guide into the medical field. And when I expressed these concerns to her, I felt very unsupported, and she would give me rude remarks in a way. And when I would ask her follow-up questions about our new teachers, she would really disrespectfully dismissed me. Like one time during class, I asked for a follow-up about our new teacher, was going to get a new teacher, and then from the classroom, she didn't have the courtesy to come up to me or anything. She said, if it's about the last time we talked, I still have an answer for you, and she really walked away. And it left all my peers astonished with her.
So in addition, I also want to add on to Carrie. My name is Lee Nguyen. I'm also used to be the vice president of HOSA, which I hope you guys are very aware of. I'm also a student at the Health Academy program. And I also want to say that with my experience with the vice principal, it wasn't great because as a principal and a vice principal, you should be supportive of your students, encourage them and listen to their concern and try to fix it in a way with all your power you can. But when I experienced my concern with the vice principal, she did push me away and discard my feelings and my issues. And as I keep repeatedly asking her about the issue, it seemed like she was annoyed at me, as if I was asking too much. But as a student, I shouldn't feel this way. As a student, I should go to her because as she's the adult, she should find a way in all her power to fix my issue and comfort me and find a way for the solution. But however, I didn't feel that way, and I feel like the HOSA program is currently falling, and I'm worried for the future cabinets because as it seems right now, there's no HOSA or any student who's opened that pathway to the medical field, because as a HOSA program cabinet, from the cabinet, I was open to medical field because of the HOSA. I was acknowledged about all these career pathways and stuff. But now I'm fear for the future of student who can't experience what I experienced, which me and my peers really joyfully have experienced. But now I'm concerned for our future students as they are not very open to the medical pathway. As it described in Bassett that HOSA is part of it and Health Academy, but it doesn't seem like they represent Bassett at all.
Thank you.
Thank you for your concern. Do you guys have any questions?
We can ask a question.
Thank you.
I'm sorry, I missed it. You mentioned vice principal. Which vice principal?
Dr.
Thank you. Yes.
I just want to thank you two for your comments. I'd like to have the opportunity to follow up with you and the principal to see how we can make sure we kind of correct what's going on and be able to move forward. I know that we have hired Health Academy teacher, probably been a month now already. It's been a month?
CTE teacher,
CTE,
the
Health Academy teacher.
occupations teacher.
So I know that one has been filled for at least a month. I think we hired in October. So if there's some gaps that are missing to fully put the program back in place, then we definitely need to know so we can provide that support to make sure it's moving forward correctly with our partnership with Kaiser.
So although our unit has had, our unit, we did give her advice on what could be helped, because we do have a teacher at Bassett who does know about the HOSA program, who does know the documents, and we asked her to work with the teacher, which she declined, as she does not want to work with her, which I do not know the relationship between them, but it doesn't seem like they have a bond, which also tear us apart.
I also want to add that it's not only just Health Academy students, but I've heard from other students that they also felt unwelcome and unsupported by.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you. Mr. Frank Morales?
Happy holidays, everyone. My name is Frank Morales, and I'm a former Bassett School Board member. First thing I want to start off by saying is, I have no malice towards anybody that's seen up here. I come and I speak because I love this district, and I see things that are wrong. One of the questions that wasn't asked is, in 2003, we had 6,500 ADA. Now we've lost over 3,200 students. The question that you guys got to learn to ask is, what are we going to do about it? In order to have this district, we have to have students. Plain and simple. Second thing I want to talk about is, I'm kind of glad that you were late, Mr. Braz, give me a chance to talk about your upcoming elections. You know, Mrs. President, we talked earlier and I told you that one of the best things you can do is learn how to be a board member and learn how to be a chairperson and the president. Now, you didn't take my advice, unfortunately. A good president, whoever is going to be the next one, learn how to do the job. Don't always have to lean over and ask questions. It says a lot about you. I learned how to be a board member because I went to the CBSA, all their programs. I know what I'm talking about. The other thing I want to talk about is who shouldn't be your next president. You know, Ms. Rivera, I'm sorry that Fignet came out on you and nobody's really jumped on it, and I'm surprised. When you looked into Delterra, that was great, because Delterra is a very, very bad project company. And of course, Paul brought him in. And a few weeks, months later, you voted yes on their contract. That didn't say anything good about you. Then you ran with Paul. That even said less about you, because Paul is a cancer to this district. He has brought in people that are really, really bad, and it's shown. Some of the stuff that is out in this district is terrible. One day they redid the bathrooms. Well, they forgot about ADA. Then they wanted to come in and ask us for $40,000 because of their screw up. My colleague said yes, because they voted for Paul. The three of you I must talk to real quick, because I think one of you three should be the next president. Learn how to do it. If you have questions, I'd be more than happy to answer it all. Any question you have. But the thing you have to do, make sure your cabinet have all the qualifications to be in that position. Because this district hires people that don't have the qualifications, and that's well known. That's well known. I highly suggest you make sure that everybody has the highest qualifications or meets the minimum. We move people up just because. That's not the way Bassett should be. We have to be careful. We don't want this district to close. Have a very pleasant holidays and thank you for letting me talk.
Thank you.
You have to push pause.
To
I
superintendent.
don't know if that's-
Or just go back to the agenda.
We can just do the information items, so superintendent board member.
What was the
I
motion?
think, I think it was to go through board member, superintendent comments as well before we vote, yeah.
Yeah, let's stick to the motion.
What I'm saying is the screen shows the countdown.
Yeah.
It's gonna show the person speaking.
Because that's the screen that we have up showing.
Superintendent comments, please.
Yes, thank you. A few things, been a long month since our last board meeting. A lot of things have happened. I first want to, let me see, where do I start? Some exciting news are, I mentioned to the board, Nueva Vista got a CTE grant, a little over $100,000. It's kind of what we've been working on as to kind of provide additional support to Nueva Vista High School. As you recall, the board supported my recommendation in putting an administrator over there full-time, as well as that we did actually add an extra teacher. And then, you know, with this grant, it's really opening up a lot of opportunities and possibilities for our students at the Nueva Vista High School. We're working really diligently to ensure that they are being successful in not only graduating, which is one of the reasons why they're over there, is credit deficient, but also making sure not that they cut it out, but that they graduate. But on top of that, we want them obviously learning academics, as well as some of the opportunities they you miss out on when you're not at a comprehensive campus. So with this grant, what our the high school students will have the opportunity to go over to the adult school. We're gonna have a soft landing, I guess you could call it, at the end, their last quarter of this year, they'll be going over for a class over at the adult school and then full blown next year. Well, they'll have an opportunity actually when the full year is kicked in, is to take courses over there as, not as adult ed students, but as Nueva Vista students, the class being offered over there as a Nueva Vista class with CTE credential teachers in the different fields like electrician. They want to go into the electrician field. If they want to go into, and so Camille, maybe you can help me because I know you helped part of the grant. And where were the other ones? If you don't mind, please stand up.
For more courses, career exploration, which the students will be the opportunity to try the health, the expression. There's also multiple components based on the students, and this is what happening in the courses. So it's 6 credits and also good support from credential.
So, I'm sorry, Dr. Nard?
The electrician,
And HVAC.
HVAC, and there was maybe plumbing.
Maybe
Couple of
plumbing,
others,
yeah, so they're gonna have an opportunity to take those classes over there. And in one of the recommendations from the last WASP visit they did was that our students at Nueva Vista had no opportunity for any pathways, CTE. And it's kind of hard to have a pathway when you're there. So this is what kind of we've worked on to create those opportunities for them. So I'm just excited for Nueva Vista as we continue to move forward with the students there. Some discussions or comments were made about enrollment, absenteeism rates. I did have the opportunity to attend CSBA this year up in San Francisco with board member Cemental. One of the workshops I went to was actually entitled, Where Are All the Kids Going? And I think as much as people sometimes want to point fingers of what's wrong, and that's why students may or may not be leaving. I think we have to first accept the fact that within the state, there is an ongoing declining enrollment. And I can't remember the percentage of students after COVID that the state just, like, where did they go? They just, 300,000, I think it was, just fell off the California public school system data. So where did they go? Some maybe private schools, some stayed at home, some moved out of state, but that's a lot of students. And then obviously we can't ignore the decline in birth rates that's happening throughout the state. And then based on really in our area here, I'm not talking about Bassett, but just the San Gabriel Valley, LA County, the opportunity for home development, building homes is not there. The value of the homes continue to increase. And so people aren't really moving out of their homes and selling. So we do have homes that are the original owners or they've been in there for 30, 40 years. They're not having any more kids unless they're bringing in some family to live with them. So, you know, there's a lot of factors that are going into the declining enrollment that we have no control over. So the conversation we need to have is, so what do we have control over? And one of the recommendations that they talked about at the workshop is really, how are we capturing the kids that we're already struggling to get in, which is less kindergarten, less first grade, less TK, less kids coming in. What are we doing in those areas to recruit parents to want to bring them here to Bassett and not another district? So once they're here, they have a greater opportunity to want to stay. So that's some stuff that we've been working with at the district and the team that we'll kind of be presenting to the board. And it kind of ties into some of the goals you have put together. So yeah, CSP was great. I did spend some time, she went a couple of workshops on student board members. I had the opportunity to speak to Ms. Bustamante, and I'm sorry, I always forget Brian's last name. And following up on their attendance to the conference and go over what they saw, what some of the things they liked, anything I could do to help implement and push. So we had a good conversation, and I did work with my staff, and I'll be reaching out to you on some of the things we'll be able to do on our conversations. Let me see, I did have an opportunity to attend the PTA dinner, the winter dinner. It was great to see so many school districts there. We filled 2 tables. I know in the past, we used to have a lot more. I like to think of it as a transition because last year we only had 1 table. This year you had 2, so my goal is every year to have more and more representation there. I did bid and I was able to win 2 silent bid auctions, so that was kind of nice. But all that money goes toward the PTA and scholarships for students. Let me see here. I do want to thank all the agencies, public officials, contractors, vendors that have donated to not only our Thanksgiving meals for our families, but also recently the toys that have been given from CHP and other entities that are going out to our students. So I just really, on behalf of myself, the district, I want to thank all of them for those donations. It makes a big impact to our students and our community. Let me see here. Other than that, I do want to wish everyone a safe winter break. Friday is the last day before we go on break for students. Staff will be in and out. We will be off for 3 weeks. So wish everyone a Merry Christmas, Happy New Year, and whatever other holiday you celebrate during those 3 weeks. Just take that time to spend with loved ones, family, and appreciate those around you. So thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Alvarez. Board Member Barajas?
Yeah, I think Dr. Alvarez shared a lot already, so I'll just want to wish everybody a Merry Christmas, Happy Hanukkah. We're in the midst of it right now. May love and light fill your hearts, and I hope everybody has a wonderful New Year day. Yeah, Dr. Alvarez, I mean, you said it. I think hit it right on the head. Spend time with your loved ones, show them that you love them. I mean, that's the best thing we can do in life. So thank you, everyone. Hope you have a great one.
Thank you. Board Member Stanzioni?
Good evening, Bassett community. A continued congratulations to all of our sports teams, whether they be girls soccer, boys soccer, wrestling coming up, and to that Nueva Vista grant. That is outstanding. What an incredible opportunity for those young men and women to get involved with really high-paying job training. Makes more than most teachers do. And last week, along with others, I got to represent Bassett in the La Pony Parade. And it was really fun. And I want to thank Gretchen, our head of special ed, kept me in stitches the entire time when I wasn't saying Merry Christmas in the few languages I know. Also, Bassett High School represented us really well the morning of the Baldwin Park Christmas Parade. Our drum major showed us just how superior he was. He got the 2nd place, it was stated, but he looked perfect, as did, I thought, everybody else did. Our color guard doubled their points from their last competition, and Bassett represented us well. But last Saturday, our band and color guard rocked it again. So I want to say thank you to Mr. G and all the parents that came out, because without those parents, you know, there'd just be a great band and color guard. Those parents were amazing to come out and support the kids. And to remind everybody, their winter performance is Thursday. And you'll see the choir and the band. But Mr. G is quite amazing with all those kids, and they truly love and respect him. And you notice I continue to support the arts as they engage, they excite, they encourage, they enlighten, all while being fun and very therapeutic. So I'm very glad to hear that our LCAP supports VAPA. I'm also glad to see how many of our families were helped this season with holiday baskets and toys. And a special thanks to Rose, and there's a reason. The officer from the CHP, his name was Rodrigo, tall, good-looking guy. Anyway, when he left, I was really worried because it's all about relationships. Immediately, he introduced her to his replacement and the relationship flourished. And we got all these things. And I was so excited by it because we could have been really narrowed down in what they would give us. And they continue to be very generous, as does Hilda Solis. I want to thank her because she does so much for so many of her constituents. She never lets anybody down. From her office answering every phone call to supporting our families with baskets and toys. She's incredible. And it's all about those relationships. And on that note, I hope that you find peace and joy in all of your chosen celebrations this year. Be it the Feast of Our Lady of Guadalupe, which is today, Hanukkah, which is in its sixth night tonight, Christmas, Kwanzaa, or whatever you celebrate. Have a safe and happy New Year. And that's it. Good night, Bassett.
Thank you, Board Member Stanzioni. Board Member Simental.
Thank you, Ms. Flores. I myself want to extend my appreciation for the opportunity to attend the California School Boards Association Conference in San Francisco a couple weeks ago. It was great to connect with my colleagues throughout the state of California, with the student board members. I only got to run into them for a very brief time during caricatures, but it was so nice to check in with them. It was great to learn more about the foundations of governance. One thing that I brought back, or one thing that I want to bring back, is a governance calendar that I spoke with the superintendent briefly. I know we have, during our goal setting workshops over the last couple of months, we've already kind of identified when is the deadline on when we want to bring stuff down. But this is something that CSBA has in an actual visual calendar that I think would be very beneficial. So I'm going to share that with the superintendent. Maybe that's something that, you know, just to keep mindful of. I also brought back some pamphlets that you found on your desk. That's just something that I stole from up there. Just like I took 5 when they weren't looking, so I thought maybe I could just give it to you all just to have. But it was great to have that experience. Again, I'm really appreciative that I was able to go last year as a member-elect and happy to go this year as an actual member. Really exciting off the superintendent's report for the Nueva Vista grant. I'm curious if there's any ways that we can make sure that if they are beginning some type of course, whether that's the electrician, plumbing, HVAC, that they're able to see it through. If that's any scholarship opportunities that once they graduate Nueva Vista, they continue their education at the adult school, that's something that we could offer. Just because it would be a shame for them to get a taste of something, get their feet wet, and then just because they graduate from Nueva Vista, they have to pay for it. And if they don't have the ability to pay for it, it'd be nice if we could think of something like that. But that sounds good with Nueva Vista. For Bassett High School, it's exciting to see the beginning of winter sports. I was able to make it for soccer a couple days ago. I went to the esports tournament last week, which was great to see. The setup, I was really shocked to see how beautiful it was, but that was something great. I posted online, all my friends were like, can I join? That's hilarious. They're all in their late 20s and like, that's funny. But that's great. Also kudos to our Olympian marching band, both at Baldwin Park and Pomona last week. Great to see them thrive. Of the winter performances I'm trying to get to for some this week, I know it's hard with our work schedules, but I'm really going to try. Last week I wasn't able to go to Torch. That's something that I was really sad about because I've been trying to go to a Torch band concert for so long and I keep missing them. But I was able to go to Van Wig's boutique last week, and it was really beautiful to just see the very vibrant and proud community there. And I was also to see some student performances that I think utilized some of the VAPA grant monies, some of the puppet that they had going on, which was really fun to see because that's what I did when I was in 8th grade. grade, so it's kind of just weird to see. That was me, it's hilarious. But trying to catch the winter performances this week is something that's on my calendar. Thank you again to our community leaders who were able to give back to the community for Thanksgiving, for the holiday season, for Christmas, everything. That's something that I appreciate because it really shows that we are a small community who really does care about each other. I know it's really easy for Bassett to have such a bad rap all the time, but we really do need to celebrate these acts of solidarity and love and compassion that we give to each other. So to them, I thank you. I'm happy for the seniors who submitted their college applications, really stressful. I know both ASB kids, they had to do it when they're up in San Francisco, which was, I think, terrifying, but you got it done. So whenever that starts rolling in, make sure for all 5 people who are listening, if one of you are a senior, make sure that you do your portals when you apply to schools. You know, they're gonna ask you to make a student portal for you actually to get your application status. So make sure you do that. And if you're getting reached out to for additional information, do it. This is the time where they're reaching out saying supplemental application, letters of recommendation. If you miss it, that sucks. So please get on top of that, 'cause it's easy for it to go to spam, and then you missed out going to Santa Barbara, because that's what happened to me. I didn't see that in my junk and I got denied, but it's okay because I went to UCLA, so love that. But aside from that, just thank you truly from the bottom of my heart for a good first year of board membership and service. For a dozen meetings, countless hours on this board, doing a lot, and I do have a genuine appreciation for this role and the work that the 5, 6, 7, all of us really do as a governance team. So for myself, I thank you all, and thank you to the community for investing me with this trust. I'm wishing everyone happy holidays, happy new year, and see you next year. Thank you.
Thank you, Board Member Rivera.
Yes, good evening. First of all, I want to thank the students from the high school that came to let us know. You were brave enough to come and stand here and let us know what's going on. We really appreciate that. And let the other students, you know, that they're all welcome to come and sit in a meeting and see what's going on, or let us know what's going on. So thank you for coming tonight and staying this long. And I attended the parade with my colleagues, Ms. Stanzoni and Ms. Flores. And it was a lot of fun. I had my grandkids and it was great. She had some high school students and she'll tell you about that. That was great. And I attended the winter concerts for both Torch and Edgewood. The band is great, both of them. Mr. Ongram is such a great teacher, working with them with first year students that just started, and how they harmonize and work together with each other and just got all those instruments working to make this beautiful music. So I'd like to thank him for all his hard work and working with the students. This is the first year that they opened for 6th grade at Edgewood Academy, and they were very happy. They did a great job. So I'm lucky that I was able to attend that, and I'm trying to attend a few more Sunkiss, hopefully. And I also like to have a moment of silence for a worker that used to work here. Her name was Diana Arias, and she was God, what a quiet baby. She was a community liaison here for many, many years. She started at Head Start, then moved to Irwin when it was open, then to Torch, and then to Edgewood where she retired. We retired at the same time. We started working at the same time. And she was a great community aide. She was so full of life that it's still hard for anybody to believe that she has gone on, because her smile just lightened up a room. And she loved dancing, so she's hopefully up there dancing, making everybody move up there. So to Diana Arias, a moment of silence, please. Thank you.
Thank you, Board Member Rivera. Okay, so hello, everybody. I am very excited to see that more ASBs are being set up. As one who basically, that is my everyday role. I coach and mentor student leaders in ASB, in the student government of Cal State LA. So while some may think that that's not very important, it is, because we're coaching and mentoring our future leaders. And so this is really good for me to see that more ASBs are coming out. Congratulations to our sports teams. I really do wanna go and catch a soccer game, but can we make soccer games like the football games, like at 7 o'clock or something?
Bundle up, it's cold.
Cause that's, cause that would be really good. I was passing by actually to, I take a quick opportunity to thank Miss Jessica Rodriguez and her daughter Ariana Rodriguez, because they went and they helped us set up for the winter concert at Torch. We did all the balloons in there. And with that said, I am looking forward to going to winter performances, however I can get there. Board Member Cimental and I were talking about that before. And yes, it is true. I did get an opportunity to go to the Christmas parade. Thank you to Mr. Raul Manriquez. He was our driver. The girls had an amazing time. I invited Itzia, actually with the help of the administration, I got Itzia Rangel, Eva Peregrino, and Roxy Regosa. So they had an amazing time. They got to sit on the back of a Camaro, okay? Wasn't red, but thank you, Alexander, for my Camaro. And we just had a great time. They blasted the tunes. They were just setting the mood everywhere there. So it was really great. I'm glad they had a great time. We went afterwards to Chris's. So that was really good. I also would like to say that I thank our students who have come to speak tonight. It does take great courage to stand up for what you believe is right or stand up for yourselves. And many times we have to stand up for what is right, even if it means that we have to stand alone. By the way, that is a quote. I didn't make that up. Okay? And so we do appreciate it. Our pathways, our business pathway, our health academy, those are all very, that is like one of the things that's really on the top of my radar. So hoping we can look into this more. We'll have Dr. Alvarez look into this more, as he said. With that said, I do appreciate that. I would also like to share with my colleagues that we've done a lot of, well, let me back it up. So this board has accomplished a great many things. And I'm saddened that some people will come and speak for what they know at that given moment, but they haven't seen or taken the time to see everything that we've accomplished. Okay, this board works very well together. And so with that said, I would like to reach out to the board and let them know that I reached out to CSBA to see about doing our board evaluation. And per our bylaws, I believe it's bylaws 9400, we are required to do an annual self-evaluation. So as we're doing accountability to all other areas, we must also begin with ourselves first. This is a self-evaluation, we don't evaluate each other, okay? So this needs to get done. We're not gonna improve if we don't know where we have weaknesses, if we have any weaknesses. So to the best of my knowledge, we haven't done one before. We've accomplished great things on this board, the strategic plan. We've talked about the superintendent evaluation. And as my colleague mentioned, a calendar that charts to us when we're going to do this. The evaluation our board evaluation should have been done before the strategic plan, but it's okay. It's getting done. And we'll set a template for moving forward to everybody. So that's really good. I'm very excited and looking forward to that. And with that said, I would like to wish all of our families a Merry Christmas and whatever other holiday that they celebrate. I think there's gonna be a Posadas coming up, isn't there? You know, Posadas, is it St. Louis and France, maybe? The St. Louis of France is gonna do Posadas. Council Member Argudo shared that. And to have a safe and a happy New Year. Okay, thank you, everybody. You have one more comment?
One more comment. I would like to also thank Mr. Frank Rodriguez, because he's true blue. He's always thinking of me. You know, every time he comes, good or bad, I'm on his mind, and that makes me feel good. That at least somebody else is thinking of me, not just me. So thank Mr. Morales for coming in, good or bad, but I'm still on your mind. Thank you. And to everybody, have a happy holidays, Kwanzaa, happy Hanukkah, and any holiday you celebrate. Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, with that, we will go back to Item number 1-3, the organization of board. And at this time, we'll take item number 3, elect president of the Board of Education for Bassett Unified School District for 2024. Can I get a motion?
So moved.
You have to motion.
Oh, motion, I move that we, elect Dina Flores for president of the board.
That's not a
Can I
motion.
get a
No.
s-
Didn't you ask for a motion to
To
do
elect the
this?
president.
To, yeah.
To elect the president.
Oh, okay.
Well, there's a motion,
Framed.
yeah, because I moved first
Okay.
to elect, and she said that's not the motion.
I didn't think that.
Can I get a second for that?
So the motion is to elect Ms. Flores president of the board, right?
Yes.
Right.
Nominate.
Okay, wait. Okay, okay, I can second.
Yeah, I didn't understand the
Second.
motion.
Okay.
Okay, so it's elect or nominate, nominate,
Nominate.
nominate, okay,
Okay.
yeah. Okay, I can second the nomination.
Okay. Any discussions, any questions?
Does it ever change? Does it rotate?
It used to. For 50 years it used to, but they stopped that last election.
Or we could rotate.
I don't think it has, during my time, and I've been here in Bassett since 2017,
Right.
I've never seen a rotation.
Prior to that, it rotated for the 50 years
Yes.
prior to that.
It's not in the bylaws.
But thank you for that question. Yes, thank you.
That's an excellent question.
Have discussion. Discussing mostly because it's a loaded motion and if it passes now, then I can't discuss. So I'm gonna discuss. Obviously, I do appreciate the leadership of Dina Flores as last year's board president. But I simply myself also want to express some potential interest in this role. Obviously, if not elected, that's totally fine. It's the pleasure of the board. But being on the board is ideal to continue my professional development in this role, to get to know a thing too, to have a better understanding of what board leadership is. Being on the personnel commission as chair for the last 5 years has given me a leg up on how to run public meetings, which has been very helpful. But again, it'd be nice to get a new step up. Being clerk this last year has shot with me some leadership role on the board dais. So that's the only thing I want to say before we vote. Not again necessarily against the nomination. However, I just want to make it known since obviously I can't say it otherwise until after that. So that's my comment on that.
Yeah, and I was really unsure when you said you looked for a motion. I was looking for you to define that motion. Because usually do I hear a nomination? You know, nomination is where you suggest a person. A motion is where you're proposing an action. So I think when you went to say it and I asked the question, that I was expecting an answer prior to the nomination.
I read it and then she motioned. And he seconded.
I think it's because it's always I nominate as opposed to I motion. We've always done the I nominate. Does that make sense? It's a matter of semantics. It's just I'm just saying that's what kind of confounded me.
We nominated,
So.
Okay. So
and he
Okay,
seconded.
You second the nomination.
I second the nomination, yeah, it's a nomination.
can I get a roll call vote?
Aye.
No.
Aye.
Aye. Okay. Okay, so the next one, where we will be electing a vice president for the Board of Education.
Doesn't
Okay,
matter.
so can I get a nomination
It doesn't.
if that makes it? I'm wording it the way you want
No,
it.
that's fine. I'm just waiting for them.
You said.
Nominate Armando Barajas.
Respectfully, I cannot accept the nomination at this point. Thank you, I do appreciate it though.
Okay, then I nominate Aaron.
I can second that.
The only problem I have with him doing that is because he would have to lead everything that He knows, because I was gonna make a nomination of Aaron because I believe he knows Robert's Rules of Order and he would execute them objectively without assistance. But I guess I didn't jump the gun fast enough. So what do you wanna do? Do you wanna accept the vice president?
Sure, I can accept the nomination.
I'll second that then.
I think it was already.
It was already seconded.
Yeah.
Okay,
Aye.
Can I get a roll call vote?
sure.
Aye.
Aye. Okay, so Aaron, you were vice president. Okay. The next one is elect clerk of the Board of Education. Can I get a nomination for clerk?
Would I wanna sign off on something to go on here? No.
I like my seat.
Come on, don't everybody break the door down, okay? Okay, so therefore I'm nominating Dolores Rivera for clerk of the Board of Education. Can I get a second?
I'll second it. Aye.
Roll call vote?
Aye.
No.
Aye.
Aye. Okay. Have a slight switch of roles. Okay. With that said, we will move into closed session because we are ready to public comments. Okay. We will move into,
Closed session.
we'll move into closed session at 7. Can I get a motion to move into closed session?
Second.
Okay, roll call?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. Okay, we'll move into closed session at 7:28. 42. May I have a report of action taken in closed session? Our board clerk has stepped away, so there was no action taken in closed session. Okay, moving along to written communications. We have a notice of a public hearing to sunshine the initial proposal of the Bassett Unified School District pursuant to Government Code Section 3547. The Board of Education shall hold an open public hearing to enable the public to become informed and have the opportunity to express itself regarding all initial proposals. Can I get a motion to open public hearing?
I move.
Motion by Board Member Barajas, second. I will second. The public hearing is open at 8:42. Are there any comments? I'll just close it. Okay, given that there are no comments, I will close the public hearing. I'm sorry, may I get a motion to close the public hearing at 8:43?
I move.
Motion by Board Member Barajas, can I get a second? I will second. Okay. We close the public hearing at 8:43. A public hearing to sunshine initial proposal of the California School Employees Association, CSEA, Chapter 26. Pursuant to Government Code Section 3547, the Board of Education shall hold an open public hearing to enable the public to become informed and have the opportunity to express itself regarding all initial proposals. Can I get a motion to open this public hearing?
I move.
Motion by Board Member Barajas. Can I get a second? Can I get a second? Okay.
Second.
Thank you, Board Member Simon. Do we have any comments pertaining to public hearing? Okay. Given there are no comments, can I get a motion to close public hearing?
I move.
Motion by Board Member Barajas. Can I get a second?
Second.
Second by Board Member Simental. We will close the public hearing at 8:45. Discussion action, approval of resolutions. We have resolution 17-24, authorized designated signatures and certification of signatures. Superintendent recommends the Board of Education approve resolution 17-24 to authorize designated signatures and certification of signatures. Can I get a motion?
Move.
Motion by Board Member Barajas. Can I get a second?
Second.
Seconded. Vice President Simental. Okay, moving right along. Roll call vote?
Aye.
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 Aye. Okay. Moving along to initial proposal to CSEA regarding negotiations for CSEA successor agreement 23-26. Superintendent recommends the Board of Education approve the district's initial proposal to the California School Employees Association, CSEA Chapter 26 for 23-24 school year negotiations of the CSEA successor contract for 23 through 26. Can I get a motion?
I move.
Can I get a second? I will second. Okay, just a quick question. It says here 23 through 26, but then here it says only for 23 to 24 and the 23-26. This is supposed to be 24?
No, it's
negotiating this year for the successor contract.
Got it. Okay, roll call vote?
Aye.
Aye. Okay, moving along, CSEA initial proposal to Bassett Unified School District regarding negotiation for CSEA successor agreement for 23 through 26. The superintendent recommends the Board of Education approve the California School Employees Association CSEA Chapter 26 initial proposal to the district for 23-24 school year negotiations of the CSEA successor agreement for 23-26. Can I get a motion?
Move.
Motion by Board Member Barajas. Can I get a second? Okay, I will second. Roll call vote?
Aye.
Aye. Okay, moving along. Regular scheduled board meeting dates for 2024 pursuant to the board. And pursuant to the Senate Bill 1100, well, no, wait a minute. I lost that one. Hold on. The board meetings are listed there. Take a moment, please, and look them over. Okay, superintendent, I'm sorry. go
Sorry,
ahead.
point of information. For the March 26, 2024 meeting, that's in parentheses if needed. When will we find out if it's needed or not, in terms of like our schedule?
It would be by the March 12th board meeting,
Okay,
yes.
thank you.
Point of information, did we already change the board policy that said that we had 2 board meetings a month? Has that been changed?
Yes, the board approved it and it's been updated on the website, on the
Thank you.
policy
Bylaw.
website.
Are there any more questions? Okay. Superintendent recommends the Board of Education approve the calendar of regular scheduled board meetings for 2024 in accordance with the board bylaws 9100 and board bylaws 9320. Can I get a motion to approve?
I move.
Motion by Board Member Barajas. Can I get a second?
Second.
Seconded by Vice President Simental. Roll call.
Aye.
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 Aye. Okay. Number 5, authorize utilization of Omnia Partners University of California Agreement 202-000-2755. Authorize the utilization of Omnia Partners University of California Agreement effective December 13th, 2023 through December 15th, 2025. Can I get a motion to
Move.
approve? Motion by Board Member Barajas. Can I get a second? I will second.
Point of information, Madam
I'm sorry.
President.
Yes.
May I get the advice of the superintendent just to confirm publicly? I know we discussed this privately, but since my employer is the Regents of the University of California, is there any need for me to abstain on this item?
If I may, there is no need to abstain as a contract will be with Canon and not with the UCs.
Thank you.
Thank you. Can I get a roll call vote?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. Okay. Appoint superintendent as secretary to the Board of Education for 2024. Superintendent recommends the Board of Education to appoint the superintendent, Dr. Alejandro Alvarez, as secretary to the Board of Education for 2024 per board bylaw 9122. Can I get a motion?
I move.
And I will second. Can I get discussion or roll call? Sorry.
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. Cool. Consent calendar. All matters listed under the consent calendar are considered by the board to be items that will be enacted by the board in one motion. There will be no discussion of these items prior to the time the board votes on the motion unless members of the board, staff, or public request specific items to be discussed and or removed from the consent calendar. Are there any items board members wish to be removed?
No.
Okay, so therefore, can I get a motion to approve the consent calendar as requested, as presented?
I move.
Can I get a second? Okay, I will second. Roll call?
Aye.
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 Aye. Okay. adjournment. The next regular board meeting for 2024 is be held January, right?
23rd,
Excuse me,
23rd.
January 23rd, 2024. My screenshot didn't say that here. Okay, can I get a motion to adjourn the regular board meeting of December 12th, 2023?
I move.
Can I get a second? Seconded, thank you. Roll call?
Aye.
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 Aye. I adjourn the board meeting at 8:52.